The New York Times, that self-proclaimed paper of record, the same outlet that many readers today might assume is an unpaid Hamas PR arm at this point in time. But in all honesty, that's a lie, because they are in fact paid. It's just in a currency that only has value on the left, and that is feelings and the moral superiority and virtue signaling points they receive for standing up for a group that slaughters babies in their cribs, but they label as oppressed. Guys, as we get started here, thumb up this video. It costs you $0 just for the algorithm. Thumb it up. If you're new and you like the content, subscribe and leave me your thoughts if I'm right, if I'm wrong in the comment section. Picture this. The Times newsroom humming away, a bunch of tweed-wearing, oat milk-sipping hipsters hunched over their MacBooks, furiously typing up the latest hit piece on Israel. They've got a narrative to push, and it's got more spin than a windmill in a frickin' hurricane. Let's talk about this latest clown show, shall we? Take the Mohammed kid. That poor 18-month-old Gazan baby who they plastered on the front page of the New York Times, looking like a skeleton wrapped in a trash bag diaper. Starving, they scream. Israel's blockade is killing babies, they wail, like they're auditioning for a melodrama on Al Jazeera, the latest soap opera, Hamas style. Meanwhile, they ignore the fact that this kid's 3-year-old brother is waddling around, chubby and healthy looking as a cherub, looking like he just raided the falafel stand. Did the Times mention this? Nope, not a peep. Not a peep about the healthy brother, because that might, shall we say, complicate the story. It's like spotting a guy distributing buckets of KFC at a famine protest and pretending that he didn't show up. Oversight? Nah, that's not oversight. That, my friends, is called a script. They're not reporting, they're directing a propaganda flick for Hamas, complete with sad little violin music. And if you think this is a one-off, hardly. Almost every time that there's an error, it goes one direction, which I will get to later. But here, just for the record, is another biggie from a couple of years ago at the start of the war, the Al-Ahli hospital fiasco. What a gem this one is. The Time runs with Israel bombs hospital, kills 500. Based on what exactly? Hamas's health ministry, which is basically just a guy in a ski mask with a clipboard making it up as he goes? Turns out it was an Islamic Jihad rocket that went rogue, blew up in a parking lot, and killed maybe 50 people. Awful? No doubt. But not the apocalypse the New York Times was selling, and the guys that they were trying to paint as Darth Vader had nothing to do with it. Did they double check? Nah. Did they cross-reference? Nah. That takes too much time and work when you've got a deadline to demonize Israel. 6 days later, they mumble a correction in the digital equivalent of a broom closet, hoping that no one notices. Oops, our bad. Maybe, just maybe, it wasn't Israel. And that, my friends, was the front page of the New York Times, built to trigger deep negative emotion for clicks, money, and to expand their oppressed oppressor narrative. This is the New York Times and leftist media game, my friends. Every time that something blows up in Gaza, whether it's literally or figuratively, they're out here pointing at Israel like it's a reflex. Hamas could fire a rocket into their own daycare, kindergartens, and the Times would write, Israel parties as Palestinian daycare struck. Do you think it's bias? No, it's a business model. They're like a cashier at a shady bodega, shortchanging you every single time that you go in, pocketing the difference with a smirk. Nice to see you as you walk out. And if you catch them, oh, I gave you $5 instead of 10. My bad, man. Here you go. And that's what they say when you catch them, as they are halfway already to the bank to deposit the cash that they took from you. In this case, though, they're pocketing the ideological thrill of subverting the oppressor and standing on the Marxist side of those they deem to be the underdog, the oppressed, as they destroy the credibility of the platform that they have. The only reason that they have any credibility left is because people grew up with this specific bodega and they can't stand admitting they were wrong to trust them or to continue to. And by the way, don't give me that, oh, but they sometimes report pro-Israel stuff nonsense. Yeah, every once in a while, they'll toss in a story about Hamas using kids as human shields, like a cashier accidentally giving you the right change because he's distracted by his phone. That's not integrity. That's just covering their asses so that they can keep the scam running. Look, we're so balanced, they cry, while their front page screams Israel bad in 72-point font. It's like a mobster donating to charity to look like a saint. Nobody's buying it, Tony, Gus. The Mohammed case, ignoring the healthy brother, and you think that was merely a mistake? No, it was malfeasance so blatant, it's practically a performance art. Congratulations, you deserve applause. It's so in your face and bad. You don't miss a chubby toddler in the frame unless you're trying to sell a lie. It's not stupidity, it's a strategy. The Times wants you to see Israel as the big bad wolf, and they'll crop out any fact that doesn't fit the fairy tale. This, my friends, is not journalism. It's fan fiction for the anti-Israel crowd, written by people who think nuance is a new artisanal coffee blend. You can't screw up this consistently in one direction and call it an accident. If every error you make paints Israel as the villain and Hamas as the victim, you're not a newspaper, you're a propaganda mill with a Pulitzer fetish. The Times, they want to be the paper of record. Fine, but their record's stuck on one note. Blame Israel, blame Trump, cash the clout, and bury the correction when nobody looks. It's like they're running a rigged carnival game. Step right up, folks, and watch us dunk on Israel on Trump every single time. Meanwhile, the truth's out in the back, eating stale popcorn with the healthy brother that nobody talks about and are praying that you ignore as they bury that story on page 97. So my friends at the New York Times, please, for goodness sakes, take a bow already. You deserve it. You're not just a newspaper, you're a masterclass in ideological sleight of hand. You're serving up Hamas's narrative with a side of sanctimonious drivel. Keep those corrections coming, tucked away in the internet's back alleys, page 97, and maybe one day you'll fool us into thinking you're actually journalists. Until then, you're just the cashier who's always sorry, but never stops stealing.